recently voted the radio station with the ugliest promotions van west of the Mississippi. We're working on that. This is AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
Views expressed by the guests and telephone participants do not necessarily express the views of the management, staff, or sponsors of AM 950 KAHI.
Good morning, KAHI listeners. You're tuned to A Time for Seniors. My name's Candace Roeder, and today we're going to be talking with the Lighthouse Counseling and Family Resource Center. We have Angela Ponovas and Trish Gamala in the room with us. Welcome in, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. That is a mouthful. Lighthouse Counseling and Family Resource Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hear it referred to as the Lincoln Lighthouse. Is that, yeah. Although it's hard to find it in the yellow pages or in the phone book that way, probably, because that's not your true name.
It's not, and I don't know where that got started, but we are officially just Lighthouse Counseling and Family Resource Center, and we are located in Lincoln, but we do serve Placer County.
Excellent. Well, I'll try to say the whole thing.
Or just say Lighthouse.
I like that. So Angela is the executive director of Lighthouse, and Trish is the clinical manager. So I think it sounds to me like we'll be talking about little different things with each of you.
Yeah.
Why don't we start out by talking about what is the Lighthouse? What is that? What do you guys do there?
So Lighthouse is a full-service family resource center and counseling center, and we provide resources. Our mission is to strengthen families and enhance the physical and emotional well-being of residents of Placer County by providing counseling, education, and easy access to community-based resources. And as some people may know, sometimes navigating the system can be very difficult. And that's where Lighthouse is really strong in helping people if they're going through a challenging time, helping them figure out what's available in the community, what can help them, keeping them on track and on course to overcoming whatever obstacle they're facing. And then, of course, our counseling department is really about helping those that have virtually no health component, mental health component to their insurance. So there are many people that don't have insurance and could never have counseling otherwise, or they have Medi-Cal insurance and they have no mental health component to their insurance. So that's where we really can help people get through a difficult time and provide them with some short-term counseling at no charge.
At no charge.
Yes.
And what about, do you have any age limitations?
Our youngest client is 4 years old, and our oldest client is about 80 years old. So we see a range of people. We do counsel children, we counsel couples, we counsel family units, and of course individuals. So and in addition to that, we have some group counseling. We usually refer to those as psychoeducational classes, and they could be on topics such as depression or anxiety or anger issues if people feel overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. You know, sometimes anger can erupt, and so those are some of the group type of things that we have structured.
Do you do parenting classes as well?
We do. We do a great parenting class that's based on the Love and Logic curriculum, which is fairly well known and evidence-based. It's an excellent program that really gives the parents the skills that they need to really teach their kids coping skills so that they can grow into really self-sufficient adults. And I want to add to what Angela was saying about the Lighthouse is that with both our family resource services and our counseling, we really founded ourselves and have grown as a place that really seeks to give people the skills and the resources and support system that they need to become independent and help themselves versus becoming dependent on our services. So we do have that for parenting classes. In addition to the parenting classes, we have for elementary through high school kids parent support groups, which is sort of a combination of psychoeducation, some educational portion, and also a support group type of a thing where parents can share what they're going through, find out other parents are going through the same thing, and get help from each other as well as what we're able to, some of the skills we're able to provide.
So how do people learn about you? How do they get referred to you, or do they just know about you and walk in?
Most people learn about us through word of mouth. I would say that's the greatest resource for finding out about Lighthouse and what we do. Because we're a nonprofit, it's not like we have marketing dollars to put out there for advertising, but people tend to find out about us through word of mouth. It could be through some cooperative efforts that we do. We work with closely with Child Protective Services, so families that have been reported to Child Protective Services that are considered low to moderate risk. We actually go to those homes and try to engage those families in our services so that hopefully whatever issues are there do not escalate, but that we prevent children from risk of abuse or neglect. We also are referred by other agencies locally. Other government agencies will refer people to us. If a police officer were to go out on a domestic violence call or something, then they will sometimes tell about the resources that we can offer. So there's a variety of ways in which people hear about us. And then we are in Lincoln, where I write an article every month for the paper, so people may read about it in the newspaper. I don't know. Can you think of any other ways?
Well, we started out the Lighthouse in 1996 as a part of the school district. The counseling was actually a counseling center in the Western Placer Unified School District. So we've sort of grown up as a part of the school community and therefore the families there. And we really grew into a nonprofit because people saw us as sort of the one-stop place to come for help and started asking for other sorts of family resources, basic needs, that kind of thing. And we outgrew the charter of what a school provides, so we moved to nonprofit. So within the community, word has just spread, and so there are doctors in the community, dentists, other kinds of providers and partners that we've worked with for many years who come across people who may come in to get their teeth fixed, and then they say they might be talking with their dentist or their hygienist about something that's going on, and then people know the Lighthouse because we sort of cross-refer a lot. And that's moved well outside of Lincoln to not only across Placer County, but a lot of people hear about us in Sacramento. The other thing that we've seen happen is that a lot of the hospitals are getting inundated, especially since the financial crisis with mental health issues, and they run out of capacity and they know about us. So we do get referrals from hospitals. We get a lot of referrals from the county. So we've taken on sort of higher levels of clinical work as well as providing our family resources. What we do, the breadth of things that we provide for families has just grown tremendously every year. We have over 110 partners right now for providing anything from mattresses to food to baby supplies, diapers, name it. Yeah.
It sounds like you do a little bit of everything. Now, are you just for the Lincoln? Do you just serve the Lincoln area, or do you serve?
We will serve any resident of Placer County. So anyone who comes to our door, we're going to try to help and assist. There's no income, criteria for receiving services from us. All of our services are free to the community. With regard to the counseling department, as I stated before, we really prioritize those without insurance or those with Medi-Cal insurance. However, all of our services are available to the community, and we see people counseling. Again, it's kind of first come, first serve, and how we have contracts with people get some priorities, like the school district, for example. We have a contract with the school district, so many of the students in the school district become a priority, but we see anyone who comes to us. Mm-hmm. So
that's fabulous. So being a family resource center kind of separates, there are other family resource centers throughout, well, beyond Placer County, right?
Yes.
So is, are you like, are there two components to what you do, or I'm not sure how you came to become a family resource center and Lighthouse counseling?
Mm-hmm. What I will say is Lighthouse offers more. There are many people that fall under the title of a family resource center, but I think that Lighthouse really tries to take a holistic approach in how we're helping people. We could definitely be a family resource center without having a counseling department. But when we were formed originally, the idea was that many children were not performing well academically because they were coming out of impoverished circumstances. And so the idea was to get resources into the hands of those families, as well as some emotional supports for the children and parents. And so I think that that was the idea when Lighthouse was formed, and we love it. I mean, we feel like it's, we've looked up what are best practices for a family resource center, and really it is to be a hub in the community that can provide varying social service needs. And that's really what we're about. And, we have the Women, Infant, and Children program in our office. We actually have a health clinic in our office. We have all of Lighthouse services. And then we have many partnering organizations that come in and host groups. For a long time, we were hosting the Men, Infant, and Children program. We're working right now with Peace for Families to do a domestic violence support group at our office. We're also working with the Soldiers Project to do a peer-to-peer support group at the Lighthouse. So we really try to partner with other organizations, again, just trying to make our just a place of ease, that when people come and they have a need, that they can access all kinds of things to help support them through a difficult time.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant, and that's really what you need, is kind of a one-stop shop. You don't want to be having your services fragmented and sending people all over, because they're already frazzled a lot of times.
Exactly.
And it's nice that they have one place like that. Do you partner with the County of Placer at all? You work with them?
Absolutely. Placer County is really a very strong partner to the Lighthouse. We have, I think, some innovative models that we are doing here in Placer County, one of which is our partnership with Child Protective Services. That program alone, we go out this year. I think we're going to have about 300 families referred to the Lighthouse that were low to moderate risk families, reported to Child Protective Services. As many of you know, the county is dealing with cuts. State monies are getting cut. All government monies are really challenged. And so if we can come up with innovative ways to address issues in our community that reduces our cost for taxpayers, then obviously that's the route we want to go down. And so we see our involvement with differential response is what we call this program. Our involvement is a way to prevent children from going into foster care. And as a result, children, the cost of foster care is reduced. The cost of court costs are reduced. So this is saving Placer County hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by having this program in place. And that was really, I think, a lot of vision and foresight of the people of Placer County to go to this model. In addition to that, the WIC services that are in our office, that's being provided by Placer County. They get funding to support that program, and they're in our office. And then our partnership with the health clinic has been also supplying doctors that were Placer County doctors. So that was another funding source for us. And then most recently, we've gotten involved with the multidisciplinary interview center, which is MDIC. And MDIC is where children are interviewed who have been sexually abused or severely physically abused And then we work with law enforcement on how can we support this family? How can we give them some help and strengthen them through this difficult situation that this family is walking through. So that's just to name some of the programs that we do with the county.
Wow, I'm really impressed. You really do a lot of things. I mean, I know we haven't even it's the tip of the iceberg, but you really do a lot. How large is your staff?
We have 11 staff, and we get each year about 6 trainees that come to us from varying universities. Trainees from Sac State, Alliant University, and sometimes national. These are marriage and family therapists, typically master's level. Sometimes we get social workers that are master's level that need to do 1 year of practicum at our office, where Trish actually oversees those interns in providing counseling to our children and parents that come to the Lighthouse or through the school district that are referred to us. So that's the staff that we have, and I would be remiss to say too that First Five Placer has been a huge supporter of Lighthouse, and we do programs like a car seat safety program. We actually give away free car seats. We started a diaper program where we give away free diapers to families in need. So we do a lot of programs that are very specific for parents of children 0 to 5 as well. Yeah.
So you work with Janet LaRue at
We
First
do.
Five?
Yes. She's been wonderful to work with, and
she's pretty dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah. So the things like the car seats, the diapers, you mentioned mattresses, are those things that are donated to you or given to you by the manufacturers? Or do you purchase them, or you just do whatever needs to be done?
We do get them donated. One of my staff actually started seeing clients coming into our office and talking about how their child, well, actually it was more than one client, but they were talking about how their child would get diaper rashes because they were leaving diapers on children longer than they should have, and how this was causing the child to cry. This was causing greater stress on the parents, and causing that one little thing of a diaper was causing health problems, family discord, but yet the family couldn't afford more diapers because they're expensive. So one of the staff that works for us, Rena Rojas, she's my Family Resource Center manager. She actually wrote a letter to Huggies and told Huggies about the issue. And a year later, Huggies responded to the letter and surprised us with 100,000 diapers that were delivered to us. So we were so excited, and now Huggies has partnered with a nonprofit that is now distributing diapers throughout the country. Lighthouse continues to be an organization that they will work with, and just last week or this week we got another shipment of 8,000 diapers.
Wow.
So we really take those diapers, we will give them to other nonprofit organizations that contact us and need them, as well as we will directly give them to people who come in our door expressing a need. So that's donated. Sleep Train Mattress Company, every year we are their exclusive partner for distributing mattresses to those in need in Placer County. Again, we share those mattresses with other nonprofits that tell us that they have a need for mattresses, and we actually evaluate whether people really need those mattresses. We'll go into the home and check out the home, make sure that this is a need, and then we do once a month give away free mattresses, and that has been a tremendous support. It's huge every month. I want to say at least 30 mattresses are given away every single month.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So how do people qualify for the mattresses, or is it for children? Is it you're turn, Trish.
It is for adults and children, and there is a qualification process, but it's not an income-based qualification process. It's really about understanding the need, and so there is a visit to the home just to be sure there's room for the mattresses, that there's the need for the mattresses, but it's like a quick check with the family, and that's really the primary. There's no age limitation or range. Oftentimes we'll give mattresses to a whole family will come, and we'll give a couple of twins, maybe a full and a queen size mattress if the family needs that.
That's amazing. That's great. Well, I want to continue this. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back. And I want to talk more with you, Trish, about the type of counseling and groups that you have to offer. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Your election headquarters in 2012, from around the nation and around the foothills. We are AM 950, KAHI.
The American Heart Association presents Mon and Polly, the Better Fat Sisters.
Mon, what's cooking? I'm famished.
Here you are, Polly, my latest culinary creation.
These fish fillets look wonderful. Mon, I usually don't eat fried food. All that fat, you know.
It's okay, they're grilled, and I use just a bit of a vegetable oil that's low in saturated fat.
Does that really matter?
It does. Oils like canola, corn, and olive mainly contain monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, and they can help reduce bad cholesterol in your blood and lower your risk of heart disease and stroke.
Did Mother tell you this?
The American Heart Association told me. I found the recipe at heart.org/facethefats. Are we going to eat or just talk about food?
Look who's talking.
I'm Mon.
And I'm Polly.
We're the Better Fat Sisters. For more heart-healthy recipes, visit us at heart.org/facethefats.
Canola Info proudly supports the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
Laura, the guys really went to town on that leg of lamb.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
Something's wrong. I know you too well.
Jim's company is cutting his salary, and he may even get laid off. He doesn't think we'll be able to afford the mortgage.
Oh, Laura.
If you think you may be in danger of foreclosure, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling at 866-687-6322 or visit mortgagehelpnow.org. That's mortgagehelpnow.org. This has been a public service from the NFCC.
I'm on a mission to spread the word about COPD, the only way I know how, through music. COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, but it's sometimes called chronic bronchitis or emphysema. It's a lung disease that takes away your ability to breathe. COPD is the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S. and kills one person every 4 minutes. My grandfather suffered from symptoms of COPD. Many people don't find out until the disease is already in its late stage. And I have to try to raise awareness of this serious disease. Because if you detect it early, there are steps you can take to manage your symptoms. I'm Billy Ray Cyrus, and I drive for COPD. Looks like people are starting to get the message. Anyone age 35 and older who has smoked as little as 100 cigarettes could be at risk. Take action today to breathe better tomorrow. Visit driveforcopd.com to take a 5-question screener to find out if you're at risk for COPD. And talk to your doctor.
For great gardening tips, listen to the Garden Guru Show with Don and Sherry Yamasaki.
Well, the Foothills Farmers Market was going pretty strong this morning. We were there, and on the way out, we noticed Roger and Winston the emu, walking along the sidewalk, and Roger was on the cell phone. You can't drive and talk on the cell phone, but you can walk an emu. Suppose the emu ran into somebody while you were talking on the cell phone. There's got to be some sort of law.
Saturday mornings at 9 on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
Welcome back in, KAHI listeners. You are tuned to A Time for Seniors. I'm your hostess today. My name is Candace Roeder. I'm the Executive Director of Seniors First. And today we're talking with Angela Ponovas, the Executive Director of the Lighthouse Counseling and Family Resource Center. And we're also talking with Trish Gamala. She's the Clinical Manager there. And I want to talk with Trish a little bit. Let's talk about the types of groups and counseling that you offer to your community.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the groups. We do have many groups that we offer for adults right now. We have a group that has been called Depression Anxiety. We continuously survey to find out what people are needing in terms of group support, what's happening in their lives, and try and evolve our classes. So that class that's really dealt with education and support around anxiety and depression, we're currently adding a lot around stress and also sleep disorders, because we're finding a lot of people are having, as a result of their anxiety, sleep problems. So we offer that group, and also a group called Back in the Driver's Seat. Back in the Driver's Seat is really about emotion regulation. It could alternatively be called anger management, but we feel like it goes well beyond what a traditional anger management group does, because it's really about exploring emotions and what lies underneath them, the way we express ourselves versus what we're really feeling underneath. And we find that, from childhood, we don't teach our kids much beyond sad, mad, happy. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole range of emotions and ways to express that. So we're really retraining adults in that in a way. And it's just it's a fun class, and people really feel that they learn a lot about what's really going on inside of them versus just what's happening on the outside. So it's not just about teaching breathe slowly and count to 10, but it's really about understanding how to express yourself differently and understand how you're feeling. We teach these groups we have these groups in Spanish and English. And
at the same time?
No, not at the same. Yeah, separately. We have a bilingual clinician that provides the Spanish-speaking ones, and then, as I mentioned, we also have the parent support group. We have many groups that we offer for kids in the schools, and a lot of times the ones that we offer in the schools are sort of based on demand. With the school, we have grief, transitions, family changes curriculum that's for kids who have a family going through possibly divorce or separation, incarceration, the loss of a parent. We have a fantastic program that we've partnered with the county for called Teaching Pro-Social Skills, and it has a social skills component, anger management, conflict resolution component, and moral reasoning, and it's fantastic. And those can also be broken up. If we have a group of kids who really just need conflict resolution and anger management, that can be its own curriculum. So we offer a great deal of varied curriculums to schools. We have a girls' circle group, which is really about empowering young girls to make good decisions as they go through junior high and high school, a difficult time for them. So there are many groups for all ages. As Angela mentioned, we have clients as young as 4, sometimes 3, that we will do play therapy with, and then kids as old as 80. So we do a wide range of modalities, but I think we really found ourselves on, what's been proven over and over in research, which is that it's really just being present and listening for somebody and having that person be validated and understand they're not the only person who's going through this. But we do have many evidence-based practices. We provide counseling, of course, to a lot of kids, and what we find is that children are often acting out the stressors in their family. So we've worked really hard over the years to try and provide that same kind of support to families, an ear that can listen, someone to be present for them and help them work through things versus sort of a more, medical model where if you're coming for counseling, you're sick. It's more about just getting the support, building skills, and the support and validation that you need, having someone present. So a lot of times we work the children's counseling into counseling with full families. We've seen a lot more in terms of couples and caregivers. And it's grown with the economic crisis. Really try and work with the couples or the caregivers as the foundation of the family, and then you see the change throughout the family. We've had some great successes. We have a lot of grandparents raising grandchildren.
Yes.
In our area. We work a lot with those grandparents, and Angela was talking earlier about sort of a differentiation for us is that we have the counseling center and the family resource center, and it's incredibly powerful to be able to be working with someone in counseling and hear that they've got these basic needs and just walk them downstairs and introduce them to someone who can help, or vice versa. We get people downstairs just, demonstrating that the stresses are bringing a lot of emotional issues, relational issues, and they can walk them upstairs or fill out a counseling referral form. So we do kind of all of it with counseling too.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So how do people know about your groups? Do you have a website or your I guess groups? Or do you primarily do groups, or are you a lot of one-on-one counseling?
We do a lot of both.
Okay.
I would say we counsel, including individual children, families, and couples, about a little over 600 a year.
Wow.
All added together, and including groups. But the groups are a smaller component of it. We probably do more individual counseling. We're hoping to grow our groups. We've more recently begun to expand our group sort of marketing for our groups to all of Placer County from more low. We were basically filling our groups locally, but in Lincoln and Sheridan and surrounding areas. But we do offer these groups to all of Placer County, and we send out flyers to the other family resource centers, and we do have a website. And the flyers are on the website, as well as referral forms for counseling and for the groups can be found on our website.
I want to make sure that we give out your contact information a couple of times too, so that people can call you for more information or go to your website and find more information. I'm particularly intrigued. It sounds like you're very cutting edge. I mean, you do probably the mainstream stuff, but I'm hearing the sleep disorders and the social skills, teaching social skills. That has always been one of my pet peeves, that kids aren't born with social skills.
Right.
We have a responsibility to teach them. And that has just been one of those things I'm just adamant about.
Yes.
And I think it's something that somehow has just been forgotten about. People just think it's there in their little DNA package and it'll come out when it's supposed to.
Right. Similar to teaching kids emotional language, like I was saying, Johnny does something bad and we say, "You're bad, go to your room." We don't sit and say, "Were you frustrated? Were you," and here's another way you could deal with that. You could talk to me. So we help the kids with the language, and we also help the parents learn to teach the language. And that, again, is another place where First Five Placer has really helped us out, because they really were the ones to help us bring Love and Logic, which is a fantastic program for all of that, to our site. But we, like I say, we're trying to offer these things because we really strive to keep in touch with what the emergent needs in the community are, through surveys, through hearing what our clients have to say, and sort of developing and going after funding for the things that we see emerging, versus sort of doing what we've always done. If you looked at what we did 7 years ago when we founded the Lighthouse in terms of counseling and groups, it's completely different now. And it just, of course, we made huge changes in 2008 and beyond, when people really started feeling a crunch. We started seeing, again, more couples, more men. We started, I started providing training to my interns and trainees about how to work with men, because traditionally, not a lot of men feel it's acceptable to come to counseling. Well, a lot of men come now. So, I always try and provide trainings that are on the latest sort of research and the latest techniques and interventions that there are, based on what's emerging in the community. So, and it's very helpful that we have 3 interns on staff, but the trainees come fresh. They're in college learning it. They're learning things even I haven't learned. So I learn from them and they learn from me, and there's always sort of that fresh research and that fresh knowledge about what's the latest and greatest in the counseling world.
Yeah, that must be really exciting to kind of watch that evolving.
Yes.
And see what's on the horizon, what's coming down the pipe, and all of that. So, we talked a little bit off the air. You said that you have 11 staff and you have about 6 interns or trainees at any time. And what about volunteers? Do you use volunteers? And if so, what are your volunteer needs?
Well, For counseling, we need professional staff to deliver the counseling services. And so we really can't accept volunteers for things of that nature. And even our resource piece, we really have some very strong professional staff that has a strong awareness of what resources are available in the community, and they are prepared to do like treatment plans and things that are a little bit more in depth than just here's a resource. So we don't really accept volunteers for those particular tasks, but where we do need a lot of help is on things like the diaper distribution, on the mattress distribution, on events that we have to attend in the community, even event planning that we do, because we do about 4 events a year as an organization. And so we need volunteers. We need board members as well. It's a competitive market for board members, but we're looking for leaders in the community. We would love to have more Spanish-speaking leaders that are willing to step up and be on our board, because we serve, we used to at one time serve about 80% Spanish-speaking clients, and that has really leveled out where we're seeing more of a 50-50 break, but we'd like to have at least that kind of representation on our board of directors.
Sure.
And so we find it to be difficult sometimes to find the Spanish-speaking people in the community that want to participate at the board level. We need some professional people to support us. I would love to have HR manager or attorney, and just some professional people that can really speak into the management of this organization. With only 11 people on staff, the board of directors is critical to ensuring that we are a well-run organization. And so we need help in every way we can get it.
So how often does your board meet?
So we meet once a month, and we do meet monthly. We have a really professional board as it is, so I don't want to give a wrong impression, but there's always more to be had. And but we have quite a few people on our board that are experienced in financial management, people that have been heads of organizations, people that are experts in marketing and PR, people that have been on city councils. An ex-mayor of Lincoln, Primo Santini, is my chair, and has been a wonderful support to me and to the organization. And so we have just a variety of skill sets that are coming to the table to meet each month and provide the oversight and advice that we need to keep going forward.
Mm-hmm. Boards are so important. They're really critical to your success. Is there taking the message out to a different level than what we can get to usually? But they make a huge difference. Did your board recently attend the Placer Community Foundation training?
They did. Yeah, we had probably 4 or 5 of our board members that were there that day, and that was just a huge benefit to us. That was the second year that Placer Community Foundation offered that training, and both years we walked away feeling like we learned so much, feeling like there were changes that we wanted to implement. There was so much that was suggested that you can't necessarily implement all of it, but it definitely gave us some goals and a model, and this is where we want to be. And so we're definitely working to follow their recommendations.
Yeah. So if anybody is, any of our listeners are interested in being a volunteer or talking about being on your board or getting involved with your organization, would you give out contact information? And we'll do it again towards the end of the show as well.
Absolutely. So you can reach us and communicate with us through the website, which is www.lighthousefrc, that's Family Resource Center. So lighthousefrc.com is our website. You can call our office at 916-6 845-3300. You can email me personally at angela@lighthousefrc.com, or a general mailbox at the Lighthouse is info@lighthousefrc.com. So any of those ways of reaching us, we will be right back with you, and would love to hear from you, get support from you, and engage you more in what Lighthouse does.
And again, I want to stress that you're located in the Lincoln area, but you're looking for representation from the whole county, right? Placer County?
We really are. This year we did a collaboration with Kids First that we're getting ready to kick off. We haven't even kicked it off yet. But Kids First has a location in Roseville and a location in Auburn. And so some of the groups that Trish described earlier, we're looking to bring to their sites in Roseville and in Auburn. And so, again, as the economic downturn took place, I think all of us as nonprofits, we had to make some shifts and changes in how we're doing things. And one thing that I really admire Placer County for is we've all sought to not duplicate services, but really collaborate with our partnering agencies. And so partnering with Kids First, not looking to duplicate anything that they're doing, but rather saying, hey, we have this group, we have the curriculum, let us bring it to your site. I think that that's a wonderful thing. And then at the same time, they bring things to us. Mm-hmm. So the more that we can do that, the more efficiently we're using resources in the community.
Yep, that makes sense. So let's talk about you too personally for just a moment, if you don't mind. Why don't you tell us how long you've been with the organization and how you each became involved with the organization?
Okay. I started with the organization in 1997, so I've been there 5 years, actually 5 years in August, so right around the corner.
1997 or 2007?
I'm sorry, 2007. Sorry about that. Revealing my age here. But I've been with the Lighthouse for 5 years, and my background, I actually had a business undergraduate degree, worked in business for a little while, and personally needed some counseling. I went through the death of my mother, the death of my father, a year and a half later. Just had some real personal tragedy and grief that I was dealing with. I went to counseling, and I thought, wow, this lady's helped me a whole lot. I want to do this for other people. So I made a career change. I went back to school, got a master's in social work. And when I graduated, I went to work for Child Protective Services in Alameda County. Mm-hmm. And I worked for Alameda County. I worked for Sacramento County, Koinonia Foster Homes for a while. And somebody knew me and referred me to Lighthouse. Lighthouse was looking for its first official executive director. I interviewed and I got the job, and it was certainly a good fit because I'm still there 5 years later. So that's my story. I'm going to share the microphone with Trish now.
Okay. Well, I had a pretty extensive background in business. I worked for Hewlett-Packard for about 15 years in management. And by the time I was getting close to leaving, the company was changing a lot, but more importantly than that, I had young kids. I was traveling all the time, working ridiculous hours, and my daughter looked at me a couple of times and said, I hate your job, and it just crushed me. So in addition to I realized that there were parts about my job that I had loved when I was more of a direct supervisor, sort of the coaching aspect, the helping people through work-life balance issues, and I thought that started missing as I moved up in the company. So I had a great time there while I was there, but I decided I need to make a change. I took a leave of absence, moved up to this area from the Bay Area, and I started volunteering in my daughter's school and thought, maybe I'll be a teacher. But what I realized was I really made a connection with the kids and their parents who were maybe acting out at school, but there wasn't a lot I could do about it. So then I thought, maybe a counselor. So I went back to Sac State, returned to graduate school for counseling education, and one of my professors happened to be Teresa Razor, who was the director of the counseling center while it was part of Western Placer Unified School District. And I walked up to her one day and said, look, I came from a business background. How do I get some experience in counseling? And she said, I got a place for you. So I came to the Lighthouse in 2003 as a trainee, which is the folks that I work with now. So, and Teresa was my supervisor, and I loved it. And I was there when we started seeing the counseling, the demand from counseling clients grow to, I can't get to Auburn, I can't get to Roseville, but I need food and I need WIC and I need, other services. And so we started thinking maybe we need to expand beyond this. And that's when the idea of the nonprofit came about. And I kind of grabbed back at my business background and helped to do the, federal and state paperwork to make that happen. And then I've since held, various administrative positions. We built up a staff, and thank God we found Angela. And, but we sort of started building it up. And during that time, I did the business piece and also finished my hours and tested for my license and got my license. So when Teresa left the organization, I was able to move into this position, which is, like a dream come true, because I really like focusing on the clinical piece. So
that's great. It sounds like you're both very content with where you are, very satisfied, perhaps is a good way. I mean, it's never enough. We can't ever do enough, but you both seem to be really at peace with what you're doing and really
I love my job, and I'm so proud of the Lighthouse.
And I feel the same way.
That's great. So, reflecting on the work that the Lighthouse does, what makes it different? What makes it different from another nonprofit, or maybe it's the only one doing it?
Do you want to speak?
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of things that make it unique. And I know many FRCs strive to do much of this stuff, and a lot of them do. And some of my experience is that it's unique in that we do have the counseling and the Family Resource Center. We truly are a one-stop shop. If we can't provide something, we have partners who can provide it. And that is, I feel, unique. I feel we are somewhat unique in terms of all businesses in that we're always looking for what's coming next, what's emerging as needs versus sort of, well, this is the program we've always done and this is how we've always done it. I feel we've sort of built into our culture this always looking at what are we hearing from people, what are we seeing happen in the community and in the larger environment that we may be able to help with. We listen for that. And finally, I'm going to say that we just have such a really supportive staff. A lot of places say we're like a family, but we really are like a family. And I think it's really critical, and I've heard it in all sorts of trainings I've been to, that if the people where you are serving others don't feel well treated or happy or well supported and have the opportunity to do self-care, then it's not a safe place really for clients to come.
Right.
So we have a really good community of support within our staff, and I think that shows to people and makes us a really welcoming place.
And I think you're right. I mean, just watching each of you taking turns talking, you're really listening to each other and you're agreeing, and every now and then you get a little furrowed brow and something is deeper. But it really comes through just spending this last hour with you guys. That you have a deep respect for each other and a deep love of what you're doing, and you should be proud of it.
Thank you. I have to say that I am so fortunate because I really do deeply respect the staff that work at the Lighthouse and respect the work that they do every single day. And, it's not easy to come into work every day and be on and ready to deal with whatever clients are throwing in your direction, and hearing that back to back to back. And yet our counselors do it and our family resource people do it. And one of the things that I think makes us different is every one of those people that work at the Lighthouse have such tremendous compassion I don't see any judgmental kind of a spirit that exists within the organization. And so I think our service delivery really reflects that we go above and beyond, that we are, we're really present for the people coming in the door.
Mm-hmm. We're in the last 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes or so of our program. So I want to make sure that we give out contact information. But if there's anything burning that you want to make sure that people take away from this interview, from this, this interview today, I want to make sure that we get that out as well. So,
I guess my first thought is always the person who is in need. And, I want to say that we view those who ask for help as really people of strength. They are not people in weakness. They are people of strength who recognize that sometimes, it may in the moment feel like you have to swallow your pride, but in the end, it means that you come out victorious. I don't think that we were created to live alone. I think we are created to connect with others. And when people are hurting, or they're feeling depressed, or they're overwhelmed by their circumstances, or just that life threw you a curveball that you really don't know how to navigate through it, I really want to encourage people to reach out, to connect. There really are a lot of resources available in the community. Lighthouse is one of the resources that would welcome you and help you if you are struggling with anything. And so I want that message to come across, that we're here to help. That's what we do. We love to do it, and it's our privilege to do it. And then the other aspect to this is that it is not done for free. At all nonprofits, though we run, I think, as efficiently as any nonprofit out there. We had done an analysis, and we feel like it cost us about $30 per session with a client, which if anybody has paid for counseling, they know that $30 for a counseling session is so minimal in comparison to what most people would charge. But that is what we say is our cost for seeing people at the Lighthouse, and with the average person coming to the Lighthouse somewhere between 10 and 12 times. So any support that we can receive, of course, we welcome, and because we just want to do more. I mean, every year we want to keep meeting the needs of the community at large. And though Placer County, I think overall is advanced in so many ways, there are still many people in this community that do need help, and we need to support one another.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. So you are a 501c3, meaning that any donations that people would send you are tax deductible, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
And I'm sure, to remember you in their will and their living trusts and life estates and, all of that kind of stuff. And I think people forget that, there are some advantages there to leaving a legacy, to you.
And, I think that that's innate in all of us, I believe, is we want to make a difference. Mm-hmm. And I want to make a difference whether I'm living or whether I'm dying, mm-hmm. To be honest with you. And I think about that quite often, is what is going to be my legacy? And, I know that we are trying to make an impact in Placer County, and I would suggest for anybody who's going through that to really just carefully think about, what is the legacy you want to leave behind? Do you want to make a difference in people's lives? And if you do, how can you make a difference for others that's lasting? Mm-hmm. And of course, giving to a nonprofit it's significant. Mm-hmm. It's significant to the health and well-being of not only the individual, but it's the overall community health that it affects. So we want to keep Placer County healthy and make it even healthier, and that's our mission and goal.
Yeah. It's a really good one. So let's give out contact information again: telephone number, website, and address.
Yes. Telephone number is 916-645-3300. And we are open Monday through Friday. Our official business hours are 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. However, we do schedule appointments into evenings. So just so you know, we do have that available as well. And our website address is www.lighthousefrc.com. And email info@lighthousefrc.com.
And just real quickly, we've just got a minute or so left. Actually, we can't even do that. I was going to ask obstacle. What is your biggest obstacle? Is it coming up with the funds that you need to do what you're doing?
I think it's that, and just continually being on the edge for meeting the community needs.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for being here today. That's all the time that we have for our program, but it's been really informative. And I know it seems like you guys, like the Lighthouse, has burst onto the scene, but it hasn't really been that way. You've worked really hard to get the word out, and you continue to do that. And you're doing a really good job. You're doing a great job in the community. A lot of people are benefiting from your foresight and your commitments. So I want to congratulate you on that. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
And that's our program for today. We'll be back on the air again next week. Until then, Candace Roeder signing off.